My name is Adaora, and I want to tell you a story about when I was a little girl in a village called Umudike, nestled in the heart of Igbo land in Nigeria. Our family compound was enormous, like a small village of its own. My grandfather had 2 wives, and so did some of his children, including my father. This meant there were always many of us children running around, our laughter filling the air. The boys in our compound had neatly trimmed hair that looked so fine and handsome, while the girls, including me, had our hair beautifully plaited by our mothers and aunties. Our hair was often adorned with colourful beads that clicked softly as we moved, catching the light and making us feel like princesses. In our village, our ancestors were deeply respected, and because of this, every time the moon rose high in the sky, children from other families were allowed to come to our compound to play. They would join us for what we called Moonlight play. Imagine over 100 children, ages 5 to 12, gathered under the soft, glowing light of the moon. The boys with their neat haircuts and the girls with their braided hair shining under the moonlight. It was a sight to behold. One of my older sisters, Ezinne, was the best storyteller in our village. She had a way of telling stories that made you feel like you were right there in the tale. Sometimes her stories were so spooky that we would huddle close together, our eyes wide with fear. Other times, her tales were so funny that we would laugh until we couldn't breathe. Ezinne taught us how to respond to her stories with songs, and together we would sing, our voices rising into the night, blending with the sounds of crickets and the soft rustling of leaves. Those nights were some of the happiest times of my life. We didn't have the distractions that children have today, like phones or television. Instead, we had each other, the moon, and Ezinne's wonderful stories. Our hairstyles, carefully done by loving hands, were part of who we were, adding to the magic of those nights. Now, when I tell my own children about those moonlit nights, I see a spark of wonder in their eyes. I hope that someday they too will experience the simple joy of playing under the moon, surrounded by friends, stories, and songs. I will always treasure those memories, the laughter, the songs, and the closeness of family and friends under the magical light of the moon. Those were the golden days of my childhood, and they will forever live in my heart